Thank you for joining our webinar today. We will begin momentarily. Please mute your cell phones or computer. Thank you. Good afternoon. The Balm in Gilead will be starting the webinar in 3 minutes. Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for our webinar today. My name is J.L. Alexander, and I'm the Marketing Communications Coordinator for the Balm in Gilead Incorporated in Richmond, Virginia. We are so excited to host today's webinar on our upcoming 2016 Healthy Churches 2020 National Conference. First, a bit of housekeeping things to keep in mind for today. If you experience any technical issues today while you are logged in or calling in, please call the number on your screen. Also, we encourage you to engage with us on social media during today's webinar and in the future. You can submit questions to us or our guest speaker via Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or type them into the chat box on your screen. At this time, I will turn it over to our dynamic CEO and founder, Dr. Pranessa Seal. She will serve as the moderator of today's webinar. Dr. Seal?
Thank you so much, JL. Hello, everybody. I hope you all heard me. Thank you so much. I'm glad you all can make it with us on this fabulous webinar today. It's rainy here in Richmond, but I believe beyond the clouds, the sun is shining, and I hope it's shining where you are also. We are excited to have Dr. Forbes to do this webinar today on emotionally healthy spirituality, healing our wounds. And you were with us last year at the conference. You know, Dr. Forbes just blessed our souls. She is just a phenomenal, the change architect, as she calls herself, and I agree with her on mental illness. So we're just happy to have her with us today. A little bit about our Healthy Churches 2020 conference. We are excited about what's happening every day. There's something new. We're going to be at the Sheraton Charlotte Hotel, and hopefully you have booked your reservations. I know the deadline is coming up, and we don't want you to miss that low rate that we have negotiated for you. So Sheraton Charlotte Hotel, 555 South McDougal Street. Conference registration welcome reception starts on Tuesday, November the 15th. And on Wednesday morning, we're going to start with Dr. Jamal Bryant, our opening plenary speaker. I believe he's in the afternoon. Bishop Horace Smith is going to be with us again this year, talking about and God made man. And God made man. You know, Bishop Horace Smith is also MD. So we are happy to have him back with us. And Dr. Barbara Hutchison, who is the president of the Black Cardiologists Association, will be giving us the State of the Union on Black Health. So that's a new thing for the conference this year. We are implementing the State of the Union on Black Health, and our inaugural presentation will be with Dr. Barbara Hutchison. Also, gospel legend Richard Smallwood. He's not going to be singing, although I'm trying to get him to sing. He's going to be discussing depression, African American men, and the role of the church. I'm just really Richard Smallwood has just blessed our souls over these many, many, many years with just some of the, Total Praise and, just all those fantastic songs that he wrote. And who knew that he was fighting depression as he was just birthing all of those songs. And now a brother is standing up and telling his story. So we are happy to have Minister Richard Smallwood with us. And I want you to pray that I can get him to sing just one song. Dr. Jazz will be with us again this year. She will be preaching as she does. She'll be with us on Tuesday morning. And on Friday, we'll have Dr. Marsha Henderson, Dr. Margaret McKenzie, and also Bishop Charles Jenkins will close it out with our musical guest. Also, Bishop, who's not here, Bishop Darren Moore, the Bishop of the Mid-Atlantic AME Zion District, will be with us Friday along with Charles Jenkins to close us out. We have a great lineup this year. A lot of stuff we have put up on the slides, but there's so much that we're doing that we haven't even talked about. Please go to our website and you will find more and more exciting things that's happening. You don't want to miss this conference. And we're doing this conference because when we look at the devastation of health disparities in our community, we must get really serious about addressing it. I was at a meeting in D.C. yesterday talking about Alzheimer's, but the high rates of Alzheimer's among African American women. And then there's the high rates of diabetes and the high rates of cancer and the high rates. We must get serious within our congregations to get the tools, the information, the resources to address these health disparities. So please go and register right now for our Healthy Churches 2020 conference. Go to our website, www.healthychurches2020.org. And now I'm going to turn it over to our guest speaker, Dr. Forbes. We are Makita Forbes. We are just so happy that she said yes. We're happy that she said yes to being with us today. When we called her, she said yes, and we're just thankful that she also agreed to come back and be with us on our one of our plenaries on the conferences. Thank you so much, Dr. Forbes. She's known as the Change Architect, which is a multi-state licensed clinical therapist. She is the founder and chief executive officer of Metamorphosis Enterprises. This enterprise, established in 2010, seeks to offer opportunities for transformation in the areas of mental, emotional, rational, and spiritual health. I think we'll hopefully we have Dr. Forbes on the line, and I'm going to turn it over to her.
Good evening or afternoon, I would say, to everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So. Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Well, good afternoon to everyone who is listening. Let me first say thank you to Dr. Steele. I'm so honored to have had the opportunity to come and to share at the conference last year. And it was a wonderful experience sharing, but I also received so much while I was there and had an opportunity to be in some of the other sessions. And it just really warmed my heart to be sitting in an atmosphere and all of your staff for what you all do. So again, my name is Dr. Khaalida Forbes, and I am a licensed therapist. I'm also a leadership consultant, a conference speaker, and entrepreneur, as well as a pastor. And I'm actually the founder and CEO of a company called Metamorphosis Enterprises. And this company is literally a firm, and what we do is we seek to offer opportunities for transformation in the emotional, mental, relational, and spiritual aspects of people's lives. And that's important because we really need, as a people, to stop compartmentalizing ourselves and realizing that God has created us to be whole beings, if you will. And so we provide various different things. We do clinical therapy, that's individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy, marriage therapy. We offer empowerment sessions as well as consultations. And we have 5 different divisions of our company. We have a leadership division. We have an organizational health division. We work with educational systems around the country. We have a spiritual growth and development division, as well as a celebrity and professional athlete counseling and crisis management division. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I'm grateful that God has given me the gifts, the skills, and the desire to serve people in this way. And so I will be one of the speakers at this year's conference, in which I'm honored to do. And one of the things we're going to be talking about is this whole concept called emotionally healthy spirituality. You might be familiar with this concept. It was actually coined by a gentleman by the name of Pete Scazzaro. He's the pastor of a church called New Life Fellowship in Queens, New York. And him and his wife, Jerry Scazzaro, out of their own life experience, has done a phenomenal job where emotionally healthy spirituality is concerned. And it's a huge organization that spans across various different countries, and it's moving all throughout the United States of America, and it is literally transforming the lives of people. And what the premise is for emotionally healthy spirituality is this: it literally unleashes a revolution in your life with Christ. Because this is what we say, that it is impossible to be spiritually mature if you are emotionally unhealthy. Let me say that again. It is impossible to be spiritually mature if you are emotionally unhealthy. Now, some people might say, I'm having a tough time accepting that concept, but let me help you to understand why it may be a little challenging to understand. I think oftentimes when we're participating in ministry and we're in our various churches around the country, we mistake a mature gift with a mature spirituality. And oftentimes people can have a very mature gift, but that does not mean that they're spiritually mature. And so we can all enjoy the gift of that individual, but it's important to God not only that he used their gift, but that vessel has a healthy and close relationship with him. And so in order to be able to mature spiritually, and we're talking about the gifts of the Spirit, right, that you're a loving person, that you're meek or humble, if you will, that you're giving, that you're kind. These are the things that come out of our characteristics when we mature. And so we want to explain to people that the way to become spiritually mature is to get healthy emotionally. And so we help people to be able to see how their emotional lives and what they're going through, any past wounds that haven't been dealt with, how that can literally prevent them in growing in their relationship with Christ. And it's so important because there is a gentleman by the name of Eric Erickson. Some of you might be familiar with him, but he's a human development guru. And he gives us all the different stages of development that we're supposed to master handle breaking the power of the past, being able to live in brokenness or vulnerability, receiving the gift of setting healthy limits for yourself in your life, embracing grief and loss. There's so many of us, because of some of the losses that we've experienced in the past, we're literally frozen in that season and have not been able to keep moving forward, as well as slowing down our pace in life so that we can really lead in our churches from a place of integrity. And so there are about 4 different stages in regards to where we are, our emotional health and spiritual maturity. And I wanted to give you some information about each one of those things just quickly, and then we'll expound upon it a little more at the conference. Now, this is what will let you know if you could possibly be what we call an emotional infant. An emotional infant is when I look for other people to take care of me emotionally and spiritually because I'm not able to take care of myself. I often have difficulty in describing and experiencing my feelings in healthy ways, and I rarely enter the emotional world of other people. I'm consistently driven by a need for instant gratification, often using others as objects to meet my personal needs. People sometimes perceive me as inconsiderate and insensitive. I am uncomfortable with silence or being alone. When trials, hardships, or difficulties come, I want to quit God and the Christian life altogether. I sometimes experience God when I'm at church or when I'm around other Christians, but when it is just me, it is very difficult for me to sense His presence. And then we have the next level, which is an emotional child. And this is the person that says, when life is going my way, I'm content. However, as soon as disappointment or stress enters the picture of my life, I very quickly unravel inside. I often take things personally, interpreting disagreement or criticism as a personal offense or attack against me. When I don't get my way, I often complain. I throw an emotional tantrum. I'll withdraw. I'll manipulate. I'll drag my feet. I'll become sarcastic or even think about ways of passive-aggressively taking revenge. I often end up living off the spirituality of other people because I'm so overloaded and distracted in my emotional life. My prayer life is primarily me talking to God, telling Him what to do and how to fix my problems. Prayer is really a duty for me, but it's absolutely not a delight. And then we have the next phase, which is an emotional adolescent. And these are people that say, I don't like it when other people question me. I often make quick judgments and interpretations of people's behavior. I withhold forgiveness to those who sin against me, avoiding or cutting them off when they do something to hurt me with no thought at all for reconciliation. I subconsciously keep records on adult, which is where we all want eventually to be. And the emotional adult says this: I respect and love others without having to change them or becoming judgmental. I value people for who they are, not for what they can give me, and not necessarily even for how they behave. I take responsibility for my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own goals, and my actions. I can state my own beliefs and values to those who disagree with me without becoming adversarial. I am able to accurately self-assess my limits, my strengths, as well as my weaknesses. And I am deeply convinced that I am absolutely loved by Christ. And as a result, I do not look for other people to tell me that I'm okay. I am able to integrate doing for God and being with Him at the same time. My Christian life has moved beyond simply serving Christ to a loving and enjoyable communion with Him. And so in this year's conference, I'm going to give you guys some information about how individuals can end up in these various different categories, but also give you the solutions of what you can do to begin to catch up with the level of your gift. And so, again, I'm really excited about being with everyone at the conference this year.
Thank you so much, Dr. Forbes. That was absolutely extraordinary, and thank you so much for the wealth of information and just for your brilliance in this space. We can't wait to have you with us on November the 18th. But we are hoping that we just want to give our supporters out there just a little taste of what they're going to get at Healthy Churches 2020 conference, as well as all of the burdens that we have in our congregation. And we have to get real serious about, and the reality of it, we have suffering congregations, and we must begin to do something about the suffering that's in our congregations and our families. So I'm praying and hoping that each person represented on this webinar today would reach out and tell a whole lot of folks to make sure that you register for Healthy Churches 2020 National Conference. We're serious. The Balm in Gilead, we are serious about this work. We are now into our 28th year, and I don't believe that God has brought us thus far to tell us to stop. We are committed to really bringing healing to our community, because indeed there is a balm in Gilead. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, go to our website, healthychurches2020.org, and whatever you're doing, just know that God is good and there is a balm in Gilead. God bless you.